You're live.
Every negative thing said in the
I'll welcome everybody to I'll welcome everybody to the. Good morning, everyone. I'll welcome everybody to the AFC Championship. All right, now we got a good day today because we're going to acknowledge some really special people, and that's what it's all about. But we'll start today with the Pledge of Allegiance. It's going to be led by our attorney, Barry. Like right outside.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a quorum present, and I'll turn this over to Brian. This is kind of our next meetings will be the excuse me. I'm sorry, February 25th. I can't read today. February 25th. Okay, and we're going to have governance, audit, and finance, 9 and 9:30. At this point, I would turn it over to Brian. This is something that I think the board looks forward to. Anytime that we acknowledge our great staff at the authority, and I'm really happy to be part of this today. Brian?
Chairman, in addition to my regular report, I want to present to the board a couple of individuals here that deserve some recognition. This is part of the year where our RPM program, which is our incentive program for our operators and maintenance staff, and also we have annual awards too. So for 2021, the Rookie of the Year is given to an operator who regularly demonstrates outstanding customer service, outstanding performance, and is very team-oriented. They have a tenure with the firm of 2 years or under, and they have to meet all 4 quarterly productivity criteria for at least 3 of the 4 quarters. This individual met it for 4 out of 4. She's an outstanding driver, operator, fantastic customer service, and she is in the Utica location. So I'd like to take a minute to recognize Rosa Marcelino.
Job well done.
All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Did you have any comments, Rosa? They said it all. They said it all.
Next, we have the operator of the year. Like the Rookie of the Year, the operator is given to somebody who regularly demonstrates outstanding customer service and performance. Again, this criteria is the same. They have to meet 3 out of the 4 quarters. This gentleman met 4 out of 4. Unfortunately, he cannot be here with us today, but we do want to recognize Bill Churchill. Bill has 28 years with Central. Then we have maintenance of the year. Again, awarded to an employee that regularly demonstrates outstanding performance, is very team-oriented. Again, meeting 3 out of the 4 quarterly criteria. This gentleman met all 4 quarters. Been with us for 33 years. Yeah, and he also won the maintenance maintenance of the quarter for the 3rd quarter last year. So this is a double winner. Mr. John Weber.
All right, here we go.
Wait.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Turn around here.
Unless you.
Can we let him fix our bus?
You can only go in reverse.
I can see you have a good style. You got mustache.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. John,
Good job.
Okay, then, onto my regular report. It's typical, I put the, federal funding numbers in there. We've drawn down all of our CARES Act, as you all know. We've drawn down a little over $9 million over 16.7. And the FRISA funds, as of the writing of this report, we had 11 employees out. We did experience quite a spike. I think at one point, we were around 40, 45.
Like
over
up to
that
50.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that's coming down nicely. We still, 11 is a lot, but it's better than the 50 we were at. Another County Rural Transportation, we continue to meet with Hops, taking over the rural transportation in the Utica Rome area. We're anticipating middle of this year at some point, we'll be operating that service. We've had continued meetings on DRT, on-demand service, bike and scooter share, wellness, traffic signal prioritization, the RPM programs, we continue to run all of those. We completed the S&T certification process. That was 3 days of meetings from November 30th to December 2nd. And then we had individual follow-ups, January 10th. I had a one-on-one, and then we had a group roundtable after that, so that hopefully SMTC gets certified again. Public transit funding on the 16th, we had a virtual NIPTA meeting to discuss the budget priorities. We do that pretty regularly. We met again last night for a couple hours to again discuss our budget. Governor put out her proposed budget, which includes a 13% increase in state funding for Central, which is great news. That's around just a little under $5 million. That's the first time we've had a governor's budget come out with that kind of an increase. Typically what happens is, over history, the governors have come out with a 1 or 2% increase, and then we have to go to our state delegation and get the Assembly and the Senate to lobby for us and get that number up. So that it's very encouraging that it came out that high, but we're still asking for more. We're still going to go around to our state delegation, the non-MTA downstate authorities got 36%. So we would like to get our 13 up closer to that, just to try to keep us a little more level with the other properties. ATAC, the Accessible Transportation Advisory Committee, met on the 18th. We discussed the proposed fare changes. I will be sending out to all of the board members. We have our public hearings coming up. They will all be virtual. You don't have to attend, but if you'd like to attend, we're doing 2 per property. So it'll be a midday one and an evening one, so a noon and a 6 p.m. For each area, so Auburn, Oswego, Utica, Rome, and Syracuse. And I will send that schedule out to you so you can chime in if you want. It's like I said, it's all going to be done on Zoom. And then NIPTA, January 19th, the board members again discuss legislative agenda on how to approach the state delegation. And we followed that up with our meeting last night, and that was the conclusion that we're grateful for the 13%, but we're gonna go back and ask for a little more.
How are we feeling with the mayor's state of the city message? I noticed you mentioned just briefly about what Central doing. How are we feeling with you?
Yeah, he did. I've said it to a lot of people. We're excited that this is the first time the city of Syracuse has expressed an interest in Central at all. We've never had an administration before that's wanted to or has been involved in anything that we're doing. So we're grateful to see that, and glad the mayor is announcing and keeping it in the forefront. And we actually have a follow-up meeting on Monday. We're meeting with city officials again to continue to discuss DRT and how we can bring it from point A to point B.
That's good.
Any other questions?
need a motion to approve the regular minutes of the December 17, 21 meeting. Julia, so moved, second. Tina, all in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go, we're gonna change this around a little bit, so we're gonna go into audit and finance committee report. So, at today's audit and finance, Linda gave a good presentation about the state of our financial affairs. The financial affairs of the authority are healthy, they're strong. We're in a place where we're forward thinking to really plan for the future. And the mortgage tax is still escalating very well, especially in Onondaga and United Counties, which is good for the communities that we serve. That means there's movement with real estate. Healthy report, like these reports, okay? With that being said, a motion was brought forward to bring this to the full board for adoption. At this point, I need a motion. Tina, second. Monty,
Darlene?
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Also, we had some resolutions here today. One was opening a new bank account at JP Morgan to give the authority a little bit more competition with interest rates. Management brought forth resolution 3B to add JP Morgan bank account with the proper signatories to our banks. And a motion was made to bring it to the full board for approval. At this point, I need a motion to adopt adding JP Morgan bank account. Tina, second.
So moved, Darlene?
Second, Darlene. All in favor? Aye.
Yeah.
Resolution 3C, authorization to add signatory to the bank account. This is some housekeeping. Melissa Grimm, Director of Accounting. Motion was made to bring it to the full board for adoption. I need a motion. Julius, second. Robert, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This is something, I think I've been at this authority 17 years. I'm very proud, and Brian's been by my side through all this too, where we can finally establish a capital reserve fund with the forward thinking of Brian and Chris and Linda and her team. This $5 million that we're establishing a capital reserve fund will help with the local share. At times when there's purchases, there might be 90 by the feds, or excuse me, 80 by the feds, 10 by the state, 10 local. The local means the authority. And by us planning like this does not mean that we have to go into our general operating account and disrupt that. It's going into capital where it should be recognized. So this is a very good move by the authority to establish this capital reserve fund. Because we want to make sure we're out there replacing equipment when we need to. Because I think if I remember right, the bus's life for about 12 years.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
12 years. You guys taught me well over there. Trying to get a car to go 12 years.
Good luck with it.
Yeah. So anyway, a motion was made to establish the capital reserve fund. I need a motion. Neil, moved it. Tina, second.
Luella?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 3E, authorized contract award for Syracuse Police Security Services. We do have a security firm at the hub. This is additional security that we all know in these days we need. And this is just to firm this up for another 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. 5 years with the Syracuse City Police Department. Motion was made to adopt resolution 3E, Syracuse Police Security Services for 2022 to 2027. Need a motion to approve this. Luella made the motion, second. Tony?
Darlene?
Second, Tony, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Is there any other, Linda, anything else, or we're fine? Okay, that's good, that was a good financial committee report. And at this point, I'm gonna move back now to Brian on our senior reports. Christopher?
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. I'll keep this brief. Continuation of the RPM, the presentations we did this morning. We had our events at the various properties this week. Brian and I had quite the road show. Oswego, Auburn, Utica, here in Syracuse as well, to present awards at various different properties. Just to highlight the numbers this year, or this month, we're seeing an increase in participation in individuals meeting the criteria. So we're seeing it's helping, it's working. We're getting more productivity out of individuals. We're seeing reductions in accidents, in call-ins. So we're just shy of the full potential earnings for this quarter was $129,000. We're trending at just about 50% of actually paid out of that. So every quarter for the last 3 we've seen an increase, but we're not quite to the full potential, but hopefully we're encouraging to get there every step, every month. Just quickly on the quarterly awards, we did the annual. So the quarterly, the maintenance employee of the quarter was Don Duquette. This employee, on his own time and coming in on overtime, has taken the initiative to become a 19A trainer for our new drivers. So he's come in on the maintenance side and helping train the maintenance employees to get their CDL license for a specific department with the maintenance, but also our service or cleaners. So they're the individuals at night that are here that fuel the buses, top off fluids, windshield washer fluid, different things like that. They also wash them and park them. So it requires a CDL for those folks to do it. So he's part of training that individual group. He's done an exceptional job with that. And then the operator of the quarter is out of Cayuga County, Nick Himack. He's an operator in Cayuga. He's been with us 3 years, very willing to go above and beyond and help out in that property. They're a lot smaller than what we are in Syracuse. They're actual full-time positions, about 13 drivers. So, when the demand calls and individuals are needed, he steps up and willing to step up. And also he's brought on three more drivers with him when he came over. So his recruitment and referral is going well there. We also presented a few of another annual award, which is the annual Safe Driving Award. So this is for individuals that have not had a preventable accident in the course of the year for 2021. So this award was presented to 117 full-time operators and 36 part-time operators. So those numbers are very significant to the overall group. It's about 33% of the actual their driving staff, maybe a little higher than that, doing the numbers roughly. So that is a $250 bonus for those folks for not hitting anything. Which in the long run is very beneficial. If we bring John back in, he could probably talk to it as well. As we've mentioned it before, a mirror on the side of the bus is $1,000. So from not smacking a mirror, it funds almost 4 people for this project. So it's very beneficial there. And then we also kicked off we have the Community Commitment Award, which some of you guys were participants of as far as members of the board. In this quarter, which we've honored several individuals. So the biggest ones I'll mention here are 3 individuals that are over 30 years. Joe DeGray being one of them, had his 30 years last month. Bob Fairchild is an operator here in Syracuse. He's got 35 years. And then one that is something we probably won't see. We kicked this off probably in March. You guys remember we did a presentation for a plaque for one operator for 52 years. This individual, that was his actual final retirement. He parked his bus. We have one individual that was actually hit 55 years as a driver here in Syracuse and is still continuing to drive. So I don't know if we'll see that a lot. I mean, yeah, he works probably as many hours as some of our full-timers, and he's a part-time retiree. I don't know if we'll see 55 years again. Hopefully we do. I was trying to convince Joe to do another 25.
25 days.
So as I was talking with this individual, Jerry Fowler, he started with Syracuse Transit in 1967, which is before Central was even incorporated as of 1972.
I was born in 67. So.
So
that's what I told him. I don't want to make him feel bad, but I wasn't alive when we started working at Central.
And I asked him what's his plan and his goal, and he said as long as I can still drive, I'm sticking it out. So he has no intentions of a near-term retirement unless something changes on that. And then just and then we kicked off a few what we call the Drive Award. So this is determination, results, innovation, vision, and excellence. We had 2 nominations for this The one was actually nominated by Linda Viata and her staff for accounting to lend suits. As we know, we've talked about manpower has always been something that we've been dealing with the last year and a half. It wasn't just an operator, we've also experienced it on the salary side. So Len was hired as an accountant in the accounting department, and then we had some manpower changeover for our payroll, and Len jumped in, you know, head first, had no issues, with a smile. He's been processing payroll, making sure everybody's getting paid for a number of months now. So we wanted to recognize him for taking on additional responsibilities for something that he wasn't necessarily hired to do, and he did it as seamless as possible. So we recognized him, and then we also recognized Paula Catrone. She was nominated by Ed Mueller in our service development, and as we talked about the fair parity project we're going on, she conducted the equity analysis for all 5 locations, all 5 properties. In the past, we've contracted her work with SMTC to do that, and we were able to do it in-house, and her jumping on that after all these years of being the first report that we've done in-house is a huge accomplishment for us. So we recognized her for that. And then we also recognized 2 individuals on the salaried side for going above and beyond. One is the Sustainability Committee, which is through Linda's department and chaired by Caitlin, with 7 other team members on that. And Carlos, who wasn't able to be here today to run the camera, as far as stepping up and doing some cybersecurity stuff that we always hear about in the news and is kind of trending as an increased problem. And it's crazy that cybersecurity involves everything. We just Jeff and I had a conversation with our transmission company that there's actually cybersecurity measures they have for transmission upgrades and programming that could affect buses that we never really think of, but he's putting measures in to help protect that. So that concludes my report. Long, hopefully is brief. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question,
Yes,
and one
sir.
small statement. How many drivers are we down now?
About 35,
Approximately.
roughly 35.
We have a class that's gonna graduate, beginning of March, and we hope to have between 12 and 15 of those.
And the statement I want to make, I had the opportunity, I'm glad you gave that pass the opportunity to ride with the drivers and stuff, to see what they go through. If it wasn't like this, and I would probably do it again, but right now it's too cold. But I get an opportunity to ride on some of the long runs and some of the short runs and stuff like that. And it's amazing what the drivers really have to go through. And I asked a lot of questions. As a matter of fact, I was doing this before I even came on Central Board, but we did that statement down at the club, when we short of money and stuff like that. And there's an opportunity to just ride to talk to the drivers, see what they're thinking and everything. And I'm kind of glad that money, that contract.
Yeah, we've got a lot of positive feedback on the contract. You guys, Chris and I and Joe were going around visiting the other properties over the last few days. It's one of the things that really stood out. Employees were actually coming up to us, thanking us and saying that, it was a good contract and they're really happy to be here, so.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph.
Thank you. Good morning. A couple of quick items. December ended our 3rd quarter, as Linda mentioned, for finance. It also ended the quarter for our paratransit side, or call bus side. We provided just a little over 33,000 rides in the quarter, so we are starting to get back to almost normal numbers. So we're still seeing some increase. Obviously, that's going to start slowing up, but we're getting as we get closer to what we call normal. Our cost per ride is still up a little high. We're still trying to maintain that 1-for-1 ridership, in fairness to what's going on in the world with the pandemic. So our cost per ride, as Brian mentioned, is up a little bit more than normal. So that'll start coming down hopefully as things start leveling out with the pandemic. Outside of that, we're also bringing our staff back to normal levels. When we lost a few folks, we did not replace them last year. Really didn't need to, so it was easier to save the money at that point. And now we're getting back to normal reservation numbers, if you will, normal call numbers, calling numbers. So we're bringing our staff back to a full capacity in that department. Probably 20 to 40 days we should be back to normal. Outside of that, as Brian mentioned, labor relations. We have a couple of negotiations still ongoing for Oneida County. Rome and Utica are separate, although they're one county. They do have separate agreements, and they're represented separately, one by the ATU, one by OFSU, United Public Service Employees Union. So we're meeting with both of those groups, and hopefully we'll have some news for you next few months on contract resolutions.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
I had some seniors, I'm a senior citizen now, some senior citizens asking about the call bus service. How does that work?
Well, in its simplest terms, you need to make an application, which we should provide either via the website or making a phone call to the department. They'll send out an application. And depending on your situation, your needs, whether you meet the criteria or not, we make a determination to that. And some people can be what's called conditional, which means it may be certain times of the year that you're allowed to ride. Some people are unconditional. Very few people are turned down, but there are reasons that they get turned down. It depends on a lot of its location and what your abilities are, whether it's physical or mental. And once that determines the day, then you're determined whether you're able to ride. So, but very simply, they can either go on the website and ascertain that application, or call us. We can certainly help.
Yeah, I want, because I know people asking.
Or
about
if you need some, I can give you some. After the meeting, I can give you a couple of applications.
Okay. Because I know people asking me about that.
Sure. All set, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
All right, Jackie.
Good morning again, everyone. So I'm just gonna update you a little bit on our driver's class and our recruiting that we've been doing over this past month. As you know, last month we had to suspend the driver's class for a couple of weeks due to COVID. We are back in moving forward right now with them. Everything is on track. They are actually scheduled to get their license on February 8th. So if all goes well, like Joe said, hopefully we will have 12, 15 full-time employees and then another 5 part-time. We're still at 20 employees, trainees in the class. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that, we'll have them all turn in beginning of March. In regards to some recruitment, HR right now is in the process of hiring cleaner servicers. We're down approximately 7 to 8 employees in that department. Our recruiter this week had 6 interviews, and out of those 6 interviews, we've hired 4, so we're halfway there. We have a few more scheduled for next week, along with a couple more interviews scheduled for mechanics too. So we're moving forward with everything. Hopefully, in the next few months, we'll be back to full staff, at least on maintenance. The other thing just that I'd like to mention is over the last few months, HR has been working on implementing the new training software that we recently purchased. That is in progress right now. We're doing kind of a soft rollout where we're testing it on a few of the salaried employees first. That's going to continue this month, and then hopefully by next month we'll be able to roll it out to all the employees. And any questions?
I noticed that, I don't know if this is your department, they have a job fair coming up, are you still participating in that on February the 23rd, I think?
We did see that.
Yep.
We've done the Destiny one in the past. They're very expensive and produce very little result. Matter of fact, I think there was more vendors there than there were participants in the last one. So we decided to put our resources elsewhere for that one.
Right. Any other questions?
Next class after this one.
Gonna start the first week of April. So we're gonna roll right in. Yep. So we'll start recruiting probably February into March for that class.
With the class that's turning in now, plus if we can be that successful in the next one, we're gonna be close to where we need to be.
We're shooting for another 20 for this class.
And we'll be able to get some of the service that we've caught back on the street. All right, thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Thank you, Brian. Morning, Mr. Chairman. Morning, everybody. As you are aware, we're undergoing a energy audit The previous audit was done back in the early 2000s, which was performed in multiple stages. Energy audits are required for several state-issued mandates. CNS engineers going to be doing the audit, and they were the ones that did it prior. They've been our contract for 10, 15 years. We just had a kickoff meeting on January 13th. The scope of the project includes facilities that are 5,000 feet or greater, which is pretty much everyone except for 2. As I mentioned, multiple stages. What they're first going to do is identify the issues. So what they'll be doing is looking at reducing energy expenses, which could be more efficient equipment, lighting, discovering air leaks, poor ventilation and such. And then they're looking at investment into smart buildings, automating lights, doors, heating, cooling, thermostats. And then last is suggestions on reducing the emissions and greenhouse gases and other pollutions. Because of our previous audit, we proactively think about how we can become more efficient. For example, we have done projects here already, like our roofs. We do PVC roofs, which is very inefficient, insulated doors, installed energy efficient heat pumps when they fail. In addition, we have a mindset that's more efficient on our TIP, Transportation Improvement Projects. We plan on procuring new windows, which are going to be a better R value. In addition to that, we're looking at solar panels on the roofs, on the driver's
parking.
Similar to what's over at King and King, you got the slants up there. That'll help out with the snow and actually generate some energy. And then also we are doing research on the hydrogen fuel cell technology. Once the audit is complete, we'll have the suggestions from them, and then we have to go and procure this. So it's going to take a while. The last audit went from 2003 to 2010, and the statistics from the audit from then was the energy consumption was reduced by 35%, electrical peak demand reduced by 29%, natural gas used for heating was reduced by 24%. We look forward to seeing what CNS has to offer. Any questions?
Thank you. And pinch-hitting for Steve Cagle today for the marketing and planning report is Lynette Pedwan.
Right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have 3 topics that I'm going to cover today. Ridership is the first. So the authority's core ridership for December is down 52% compared to December of 2019, and overall ridership is down 32%. However, when we compare that to December of 2020, we're actually up 93%. So that's good.
From what date, 20?
From December of 2020.
Okay.
Social media's second topic here I'd like to cover. Activity is progressing in a very positive manner. Over the past month, our activity, actions, reach, views, engagement, and growth numbers are all trending upward in comparison to the previous month. That's good news for us because it means that our customers are interacting and engaging with us on a more frequent basis. Some of the more active campaigns that we've been focused on are recruiting, service and route updates, mask compliance, not a favorite for customers or anyone. And we launched a pretty creative winter tip campaign to help keep our customers and the public, our operators, safe. Things you need to think about getting on and off buses. And of course, the public hearings that are coming up, being the biggest and most interactive campaign. With regard to that, Brian gave you some overview. So on December 21st, we actually informed the public via legal notices and press releases that we would be holding virtual public meetings in February regarding a universal pricing system that would set the adult fares for all of our city bus routes at $1. If passed, the proposed restructuring would take effect on or about March 7th of this year. And that would affect our bus systems in Cayuga, Oneida, Onondaga, and Oswego County, so it's system-wide. As Brian said, they are virtual hearings. They're going to take place on 4 dates: February 2nd, the 1st for Auburn and Oswego, February 3rd for Rome, February 7th for Utica, and February 8th for Syracuse. Each meeting will comprise 2 sessions, the first from 12 to 1, the second from 6 to 7. Registration links and information, background information, the legal notices, press notices, And all of the presentation material is accessible on our website. So if anyone asks, or if you're interested in reading more about that prior to the hearings, you can access that right on our website. And Steve asked me to mention that, just as a reminder, next month at the board meeting, he'll be requesting a board action on the proposed fare changes. Information, as Brian said, will be forthcoming following the final hearing on February 8th. And that's my report. Any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
how's that new system working out? Would you have cards, insert your card on the bus, what you call that?
The validator,
Yeah. How's
uh,
that working out?
right now we're still in testing phase. So the plan to go live with those will be April 1st. They're on there, they're installed, but part of the fare structure change is going to take place in implementing that. But the goal is to phase this. So the first step will be the fare change in March, and then the validator will go live in April.
Just want to remind you that we have a TNT meeting coming up on February the 7th. It's going to be at 6 o'clock. Showing, come on there, just explain the system there. It'll be at, you know what TNT.
For the, February 1st was the meeting date for Oswego.
Yeah, I'll send out the,
February
all the
2nd,
dates.
Auburn, Oswego, yep. And those are, if you go to thecentro.org,
Yeah, yeah.
it's the header right on there, and the link to that page is right on the header at the top of the page.
I can send you guys all the dates and times and the link to the meeting.
We had Steve come to downtown Lakefront TNT recently to discuss. It was well received, the fare information.
But so far, it's been positive.
Yeah, tell people it's going down $1, I think.
We haven't had any negatives, and people that have to start paying for their transfers now really don't get hurt. I mean, it's still for $4 buy your day pass and ride as much as you want, so.
Yeah. Yeah, our increase TNT in this area is increasing now.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And then last pinch hitting for Mike Fitzgibbons is going to be Bob Bonai to give the XP report.
Mike's unable to be here today, like I know, there are just some notes that he's given me to pass on. The Nimble is our actual storage server that we have for all our virtual equipment. It's been procured and is set to be shipped in March, so HPE is the reps that we're going through. Will be on site to assist us with the actual setup within another sometime late February. That's a big upgrade. The one we have now is pretty much at end of life with it down there, and the hard drives down there small, so it's more technology, much bigger, much better, but for the whole network of the company. The Sophos, the antivirus that we use, has detected and blocked over 160,000 threats in the last 6 months. The Abilla is the accounting software that now PDS, their payroll software. Their year-end processes have been completed. And myself with that now, I'm actually working on upgrading a bunch of our network switches that are a handful of that are all outdated. So it'll be more on site and trying to do the best to be able to test in the least amount of downtime. And I'm sure that Mike has all mentioned about the MC replacement for the AS400. We have a test and a production system. They're currently working in test. They're working on an inventory setup. The planned go live date is April 1st. Jim, our programmers, worked on all the back-end connections for FleetWatch, which is the fueling, and Clever Devices, and Micro, the procurement system. So everything seems to be working there. And they're just doing a lot of tweaking, and there's still a work in progress with that there, but it's moving along well. And that's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Mike. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the senior.
Okay, those reports are great, and people that were filling in did a great job. So satisfied with that. I'm going to move to pension committee. Robert?
This morning, the pension committee had a meeting. The LESCO advisors gave us a detailed overview of the authority's returns and allocations, plus they gave us an in-depth overview of market conditions. A motion was passed to bring the employer contribution increase to a maximum of 6% for the salary defined contribution plan for board approval. So at this time, I'm gonna need a motion.
Okay, so motion for, to approve the amendment to the salary defined contribution plan 401A.
So moved, Darlene.
Okay, second. Julius, all in
So
favor?
moved, Darlene.
Okay, thank you, Darlene,
Aye.
you're good, I appreciate it. We got Julius as a second. And all,
Sorry.
hey, no, you're doing good.
Luella.
All in favor?
Luella.
Okay, I want to just know one thing, Darlene, did you vote yet? Okay, all set. Robert, anything else?
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my pension committee report.
Very good, good job. Any old business? No, sir. Future business?
Well, the future business, I think, is, about the 81, community grid. I think we're gonna be talking about that probably something, that's gonna be coming online pretty soon, right? How central, did with that, what is that?
Right now, I mean, we're involved in some of the discussions. We get reports through SMTC when we have our monthly meetings with them. Somebody from New York State DOT is always there to present the 81 status report. Right now, they're working through some legal battles. There's some towns and a couple community groups that are opposing the tear down and the community grid option that's being presented. So they're in the courts trying to stop it, and then, NISAP's trying to get it moving forward. So I really think we're still, you're probably 2 years away from any shovels going in the ground.
I noticed that the governor said that she is really for it, and she's tired of the confusing rules, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got some time. How it's gonna affect us, I really don't think it's going to. Route-wise, we might get involved in the project with some additional parking rides, because it is gonna disrupt traffic flow downtown. It's gonna disrupt some parking. It's gonna be eliminated or not be able to be used. So they might wanna establish some parking rides, on the outskirts of the city, so people can park there, and then we'll do some shuttling to their offices downtown. And but that's all, we're years away from that.
How many vans do we have in our fleet right now?
I mean, what?
Vans? Do we have vans?
We don't have, like transportation vans now. We've got some utility vehicles that we use to move, parts and products and stuff.
Nothing for revenue service.
Nothing, yeah.
It's
You got
usually,
all
we have
of us
hundred ninety-eight
small.
large vehicle,
Yeah.
we call large transit vehicle, we have 39 for transit. Currently.
So the call buses, they're technically, they're van chassis, but
Right.
They're
Only
not used,
reason-
they're not used for revenue service.
Understood. Only reason I was asking as we think forward and we talk about, maybe not call it right, but,
On demand.
yeah,
On
so,
demand.
so especially with this project coming, vans might be a nice investment to offer a different service for people who want, it's gonna need rides.
yeah, we're gonna consider that too. We're in the process of working on our on-demand service,
Right.
which is kind of like a Uber bus.
Yeah.
But it's, ride sharing at the same time.
Exactly, okay,
You might order and there'd be 3 other people that get on at the same place.
perfect.
And we would probably at that point consider like some of those, what do they call them, the, micro vans or whatever.
You got sprinters, the
Sprinter
sprinter
vans.
vans.
Exactly. what-
Exactly.
The sprinter vans are like 8 or 10 passenger.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be ideal for that type of service, if you're just, flying around in the city.
Yeah, because I can't imagine a big bus pulling up. Like, we got a little something smaller.
Yeah, you're the only one on it.
Right.
Right.
Is it cheaper to contract?
No,
On your own? I mean, I guess that's gonna be one of the.
Well, part of the RFP process is gonna flush that out. So there's companies out there that offer a turnkey service, so it's their vans, their employees, they do all the maintenance. We just pay the fee. And then there's other companies out there that just provide you the software, so that you can do the routing and administer it, but then you've gotta go out and get people to drive it and, buy your own vehicles and maintain them. So we don't, at this point, don't know which way we're gonna end up, but we'll get through that in the RFP process.
Got one more question for you. Notice that we have a neighborhoods could be opened up pretty soon, GME, wireless and stuff like that. We'll form a good relationship with them, because that may be some future things that we can look at.
Yeah, we've been working with them right along. You know, we work with them on the signal that's out there and street closure, and, we've been in pretty regular contact with them.
Just one last, so going back for a second, the RFP process. Is that something that's gonna be for May or for next October or?
Hey,
The hope is to get something up and running this spring, but we'll see, like an RFP out on the street this
okay.
spring, yeah, but we shall see. The planning phase sometimes takes a little bit longer than we necessarily hope, so we'll keep you guys informed.
Any other, this is a good conversation. Any other comments? Okay, vote for adjournment. Okay, we're good. That's it.
thanks, everyone.
Good.